I bet you're thinking you can't hear me. Well, that's because I thought there was music playing, but I couldn't hear it, so I was just doing my little dance. Hey, what is up, everybody? It is Friday, March 5th. That means it is First Friday, and boy, I'm looking at myself down here in the delay, and I look like a nerd. Thank you guys for tuning in. Lots of stuff to talk about tonight. I'm super excited about this particular show. I also want to give a big shout out to Mark's Drone Works, Joe Blaylock, and Metro Drones for the pre-show super chats. Very, very cool of you guys. This is actually not my laptop. My laptop is back there, so I'm not responding in the chat because I'm not logged in as me over here, just because my laptop's being used for something else. But I do want to thank you guys very much, Metro Drones, Bill, Joe Blaylock, and Mark's Drone Works. Thank you guys. And also want to say hi to my brother Brad from Virginia. I want to say hi to Dennis Lovelady, Sunrise Water Media, Jerry Calverley. Sorry, Jerry. I had it at one point. Ten Toes, good to see you. Ten Toes. What's up, Tom? Ray Kelly's in the house. Man, we got a great crew here tonight. I saw Jake Sloan in there earlier. And Matt Cundiff is here. Like I said, Metro Drones has been in the chat for a while. So thank you guys all for joining. What are we going to do tonight? Well, I have quite a bit of things lined up for you. First of all, though, I have a couple of announcements I want to tell you about. We are going to announce the March Subscriber of the Month. And before we do, I just want to give a big shout out to TJ Parsons, who was the February Subscriber of the Month. And also Harley FPV was January Subscriber of the Month. So we're on our third one. We'll announce the Subscriber of the Month at the end of the show. And the Subscriber of the Month gets a prize package and some cool stuff. It's been a fun thing we've been doing for some years. And I know several people that are in the chat have been Subscriber of the Month. Jake Sloan says, I was thinking that Ready Set Drone must have had music playing in his head the rest of us couldn't hear. That's exactly what it was. No, Scott's helping me out tonight, and we were going to do a little intro with some music, but it's all good, man. I'm so glad Scott's here. He is a huge help. I could not do this on my own. I see Michael Wright in the chat there. I see Chris Hope. Thanks for coming, guys. So in addition to Subscriber of the Month, I wanted to let you guys know, I haven't seen 400 AGL, but if he does join, he is doing a contest for a Mavic Mini giveaway. So if you want to enter, there is a link in the description for that Mavic Mini giveaway. Also want to mention the meetup that Ray Kelly is hosting in Florida on March 20th. If you want to know more about that, reach out to Ray Kelly directly. He can help you out. And speaking of, this different meetup. Oh no, you've got the right one up there. Thank you, Scott. We will also hear from Chris Hope later with 2 Minutes of Hope. So that is something people can look forward to. And speaking of people that are usually here, I wanted to talk a moment about Philip. He could not make it tonight because he had a bad internet connection. But I think he is someplace really beautiful and cool. So he sent me a video of himself. And let's take a quick look at it, saying hello from Philip.
Hey everybody, Philip here, and unfortunately I have to miss First Friday. Kelly asked me to record a quick video just saying hi. I am in Lajitas, Texas right now, which is outside of Big Bend National Park. And fun fact for you, Big Bend National Park is actually larger than Rhode Island, so that's pretty cool. But we're basically in the middle of nowhere, and I don't have internet, which is why I can't be here. I did literally just record some cool drone footage, so I'm putting that in here with this video. Hopefully you enjoy it, and I will see you next First Friday.
Every day I still remember when I was really free and all the things I lived. In the midst of the things that I left, I regret for this. It won't be the same, yeah. I never felt this way, cause I want to come back and find my way. And I have to run and run away. I finally choose, yeah. Cause it feels like I'm wide awake and I'm standing in time. Now I'm disappearing, looking for light. Losing the time for you. Yeah, I'm wide awake for real. I'm wide awake for real. Every day I still remember when I was really free and all the things I lived. In the midst of the things that I left, I regret for this. It won't be the same, yeah. I never felt this way, cause I want to come back and find my way. And I have to run.
So I just want to say thank you to Philip for sending that video along. That was very, very cool. It looks like he is in a beautiful spot in Big Bend. And actually, he sent some pictures too, which are even cooler because they really captured, they look like they were taken with HDR or something. They really captured the whole look of it. But I also wanted to go back and mention the meetup again in Florida, which Ray Kelly is putting on. I've heard a lot of people going to that thing. So I think Brad is going. I think Michael Wright is going. I'm pretty sure Doc Murdoch is going. So there's going to be a pretty good crew at that event in Florida. So if you're thinking about going on March 20th, reach out to Ray Kelly and get the details. Speaking of meetups, I wanted to take a quick look at a couple of pictures that we had from the last two meetups that we've had here in Austin. And they are meetups we're doing monthly, and it's really, go ahead, Scott, you can show the picture. It's really Kai, who is Lone Star UAV, who's putting these on. He's the guy in the back, in the middle, but that was our first one, and then go ahead and go to the next one, Scott, if you would, thank you. And this was a picture taken at the last one where we had Doc Murdoch came from New Mexico to hang out with us and teach us all about different FPV stuff and building. And we had Lee was there. I think it's Lee, Doc, Kai, myself, Chris from Sunrise Water Media. And I think that was it. It was a small group this time, but it was a ton of fun. And so check with Kai on when the next one's going to be. I know there's going to be one in March. But speaking of all that, I did shoot some video while I was there, and I thought it was pretty fun, especially to see how many quads that Doc travels with. So let's take a look at that video from the last meetup. All right, Chris, what do we got there?
This is my build that I have not flown yet, but I'm just finishing it up.
Think you're gonna fly it today?
Yeah, hopefully.
Give us a quick
the rundown?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Good night.
So we got.
So this is the DRL practice rig.
Yep.
This is 7-inch on 5S. Okay, so there's that one. Then there's the X-Hover Stingy V2. This is the 5-inch.
Yeah.
Okay, and both of these are set up with TPU mounts from Fly High FPV for GPS, so that I can put the GPS modules on it.
Then, oh yeah. So that's where that little square.
Correct. That's where the GPS module sits here. Yep. I just haven't set them up yet. Then we've got an Armiton rooster that is brand new. It's going to get test flown today.
And that's got the old school ESCs out there on the arms.
Yes, I like doing that. My Stingy's set up the same way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I like doing that on the 5-inch because if you burn a motor, burn an ESC, it's easier to replace.
Yep.
Then I've got my Martian 2, which has been beat to living death.
Yeah, you can see that, but it looks
It has a plywood bottom plate now because I broke all the carbon on it. The arms seem to survive. So
is that like, what kind of camera is that on top?
This is a Runcam HD.
Runcam, okay.
Yeah, and this one is a Runcam HD on the Rooster as well.
Do those have stabilization?
Nope.
No,
nope.
So just
they're 1080p and they actually take very good video for their size.
Yeah, I think I've seen them.
Yeah,
I've seen
they're
them.
very good.
They're a good. They're not like tall like a GoPro, which is nice.
Then I've got this one. This is called the Fly Ant. This is basically a knockoff of, goodness, what is his name? I can't remember his name now. But it's a knockoff of one of the upper arm ones where all the electronics sit.
Oh,
below.
yeah, okay. A little lower center of gravity.
It just places everything lower. So, and then, let's see, what else we got? Oh, we got the little guys. We got the Beta 75 Pro.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Which is the little 2S one. We've got the Cine Pro.
Yeah.
Which is going to get flown today, which I did some modifications for the antenna and switched. The stock comes with the board for the camera on top and the receiver on the bottom. Well, it made it hard to get to the receiver down here, so I took it apart and flipped it, made it to where all I got to do is move the strap over and I can get to the bind button, which is right here.
Oh, that makes it easier.
So I made it easier.
Are you watching that, Gep RC?
That was it in a nutshell. So we did that and then put a circular polarized antenna on it instead of a linear. And then this one is another one of the Emax
Tiny Hawk
Freestyles. Yes.
Nice.
This is Mama's quad.
Nice.
Yeah, this is Mama's quad.
Looks in good shape.
Yep.
And you got lots of batteries.
Yep, got a ton of batteries for it.
Sweet.
So, but that's everything I got.
And this is your takeoff pad.
All right, you ready, Kelly?
I'm ready.
And I'm gonna go straight out.
All right.
Okay. That sounds like something's hitting. Oh no, it's just
the rattle of the
stop sign. Yes. Yeah. That was funny. There we go. Well, hello.
I can see your camera, see you with the camera.
Wow. All right, Kai, what happened here?
Total melt in the mud hole.
Oh, dang. That is muddy.
This side's clean.
Yeah, only one side's really dirty. But
That's that. Yeah, it got it.
yeah, that's all right. It can all be wiped down.
It'll all wash out.
Got a Frisbee here. Doc Murdoch is going to chase this Frisbee and see if he can track it in the air with his, he's flying a DRL trainer quad, which will go really fast. You won't have to go that fast to chase the Frisbee, but let's see how it goes. All right, here's our pilot.
Okay.
Ready to chase this Frisbee. Here, let's let the quad smell it, so it knows.
A little sniff.
Knows what it's looking for. Okay, this is what you're after here, big guy.
All right, let me make a.
Meetups like that are so fun. That's really just a great opportunity for us all to get together, learn a lot. And again, I really appreciated Doc driving all the way from New Mexico to have that meetup with us. He had a great time, and I know he's been helping out Chris at Sunrise Water Media to do his first build. As a matter of fact, I want to plug Chris's channel real quick. If you haven't checked out Sunrise Water Media, he has a video about that first quad build, and it's in the description below, so you can go check it out. And also, again, thanks to Doc Murdoch for making that trek, and to Kai for putting it on, and what a good time. What a good time. So if you are going to go to another meetup and you're in the Florida area, you should really think about meeting up with Ray Kelly. And then, of course, there is the meetup of all meetups, which is Spin Up, but I still don't have details on that. I promise before the summer, June-ish, May time frame, I'll have the details, but it won't be until October at the earliest. It's going to be towards the end of the year, so you'll have plenty of time to make reservations and all that good stuff. I hope to see a lot of you guys at Spin Up this year. Speaking of all that stuff, I posted on the flight crew private, I can post things to just the flight crew to send me some pictures, some questions about the DJI FPV drone. So this has been on fire for the last week, as long as, I guess it was Tuesday that it came out. Everybody's been talking about it. I think a lot of people have flown it. A lot of people have questions about it. I did have the good fortune of getting one prior to the release, so I've been flying this since December, and I wanted to answer some questions from the flight crew, which I have right here in front of me, so I'm going to read those off in just a minute. But I also just want to say, too, that a lot of people are complaining about the cost, and generally, the drone hobby is expensive. It's not a cheap hobby to be into, really. I mean, once you get out of the toy-grade drones, you start paying hundreds or thousands of dollars for camera drones, etc. And so I think that's just one of those things you have to kind of realize and say, if you're going to get something like this, maybe it's a choice between this and a camera drone. Really do your research first before you decide which one you want. To me, what's great about this is that everybody in this chat right now, whether you've flown FPV or not, can fly this thing. I know that a lot of folks have been wanting to get into FPV, and this is very, very approachable, pretty easy to set up. And then once you graduate to the idea of flying it in acro, it really is pretty fun to fly in acro. It doesn't handle quite as well as a normal FPV quad, and by normal I mean with a flatter sort of profile and a carbon fiber frame, but it does pretty well, and you can't really see it here, but this one's pretty scuffed up. I've crashed it a fair amount. My flying with it has gotten more and more, I guess aggressive is the word. I was pretty timid with it at first, but I do think that these things can be broken. I've seen a lot of videos of people breaking the arms on them and stuff, but overall mine's held up pretty well. But let me get to the questions that were asked by the flight crew. First of all, Joe Blaylock said, new drone versus $1,200. Which do I want more? Again, back to the price. It is not cheap. But if you're going to get into FPV, it is a very easy way to get into FPV. And understand that, paying that $1,200 to $1,500, depending on which package you get and the batteries, etc., you're also getting the goggles and the controller, which means that controller is going to be bindable to other drones down the line. And the goggles are backwards compatible with DJI Air systems. So that is part of the investment up front, is getting the goggles and the controller, and then getting the drones after that should be less expensive because you're just buying the drone. When I originally bought the FPV system from DJI a year and a half ago, I guess a year ago, I realized that was like $900 to get the remote control and the V1 goggles, but I've now been able to probably bind it with 7 or 8 different drones and fly all of those. Of varying from everything from $200 to about $500 for the drones themselves. Ben asked if the props show in the footage. Yes, they do, and I'm going to show you some examples of that in a little while. Not quite yet, but I will. But yes, the props do pretty much show in the footage. So if you're flying it for cinematic reasons, you're going to have to either crop in a little bit on the 4K, because it does do 4K 60, or you're going to have to fly in such a way that the gimbal, the camera is tilted up. I kind of did break the cover for this thing, but fly a little bit more like this versus like this. This is when you're flying slower is when you really see the props, but when you're flying faster, you don't see them as much. So thank you for that question, Ben. And by the way, Ben, I hope you will be at the next meetup. I I know you weren't able to make the last one, but I'm hoping to fly with you in person. Stingray Ariel from Oklahoma. By the way, Stingray Ariel, I wanted to find out, Gary, if you received the bird, because he was the winner of the Go-Go bird last week. So let me know if you're in the chat if you did get the bird. He asked, would you suggest the purchase of DJI Care Refresh for this drone, and what simulator would you suggest practicing in? Yes, I definitely would suggest the purchase of DJI Care Refresh for this drone. I think it is, it's a good idea with most drones, but especially if you're going to be getting into FPV, I think it is a good investment for this. I think there's a limited number of times you can get your drone replaced, so definitely still be careful with it, but yes, I would. And then for the simulator, really I've only played 2, and I've played the DRL sim a lot, which is available on Steam, and I've also played, actually both of the ones I've played have been available on Steam, and I've also played Liftoff, which is also available on Steam. They are both also available on the Xbox. However, flying with an Xbox controller is weird. It doesn't feel the same as flying with a regular controller, which you can do on a computer. You can connect it via USB. So it's still a good place to start, though. If you have an Xbox, the Liftoff or DRL Sim, and if you have a Steam account, which is a gaming platform for PC and Mac, it works as well. I play it on both at home. DumbTube said, one question, what's the top speed, actual top speed of this drone? It can go, I believe, up to 87 miles per hour. I think they put it in meters per second, which is 39 meters per second, and I did the calculation. It's 87 miles per hour. So that's pretty darn quick. But the question is, how fast can you fly it, or can I fly it? Because flying it at that speed is actually not as easy as it seems, especially if you're trying to stay low to the ground. If you're way up in the air, it's a little bit easier. I'm going to show you a video in just a minute about that. And by the way, Scott, did you already roll the looping video, the roll around? Yeah, you want to go ahead and roll that while I'm talking on this next one? This is just a cool shot that I got. I actually got it with the Mavic Air 2. It's a Mavic Air 2 going around the DJI FPV. I thought it was kind of neat. I was able to do it for about 45 seconds. The question from Mike Miller was, it looks like you have about $1,000 in batteries. Them being $200 each or so. How long do they last in full acro? Did you break it? I see you had lots of crashes. How tough is it? Great review. So in terms of the batteries, they last up to 20 minutes in ideal conditions. Your actual flight time is going to be closer to probably 15 to 17 minutes was what I was getting before I had to come back and land. They are intelligent batteries. They do the whole thing with discharging themselves after a few days to stay at an optimal storage level. I really like the way they fit in. They have a nice solid, listen to this, that click as they put it in. Here, I'll do it one more time. Hold on. And then push that in to make it go. And then, of course, if you guys haven't heard the growl sound, Scott actually has it over there. Do the growl. That's what it sounds like. Actually, that was the sound effect recorded. Now here's what it sounds like live. I'm going to do it here. Let's see if it'll behave. Yeah. LEDs. The LED light show is very cool on this thing too. So in answer to your question, I know that Ken Heron broke a battery when he landed on his, kind of came down hard on concrete. I haven't flown it over concrete very much. I'm mostly trying to stay over grassy fields, so that probably helps a little bit. I've crashed it a fair amount. All my batteries are just fine. I do have some nicks here on the front. I don't know if you guys know what the red devils are, but they're those red things that I fly through at the school I fly at the field. They're metal. They're pretty heavy. They're used for football. I don't know exactly. One of them's a sled, I think, and then a couple of them are for doing drills around and stuff. But there's little red paint marks here. Broken a few props. But other than that, and then I did flip it over and got a lot of dirt inside of it and had to take the canopy off. That's why I put the green one on, and I had to blow it all out on the inside. The other canopy's fine. I just thought the green looked cooler, so I put it on. So I think durability really has to do with how careful you are with it, you know, how much of a basher you want to be versus a little bit more cautious pilot. And I think you can become less careful as you get better, meaning you can do more intense tricks and stunts and stuff like that. But, you know, as I said, when I started, I was pretty gentle with it. As Ken Heron pointed out in his video, they did send 2 to everybody because knowing that they would get broken. This is my first one. I haven't even connected my second one yet. I wanted to make the whole thing through with this one. I do intend to connect the second one and use it as well, but this one is the only one I've flown, and it's still in one piece for the most part. Well, aside from the props. Sunrise Water Media said, can it fly close to the ground in acro mode without a failsafe or crash? Yes, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. As a matter of fact, go ahead and roll that video, Scott. This is the close to the ground one? Okay, cool. Yeah, so I have a video demonstrating this, and you'll see right here at the beginning of the video, I actually brushed the ground. I kind of clipped the ground a little bit before I go through the goalpost. I think it's coming up here in a second. Yeah, I mean, it's really fun to fly close to the ground. Yep, there it was. And see, you know, it makes you feel like you're going faster the closer to the ground you are. And there's no problem. It doesn't try to override it in any way, like maybe like a DJI, like a Mavic might do, because it thinks it's going to try and land or something like that. And then I don't know, as far as the failsafe goes, actually I have brought it close to the ground and crashed it when I was going through something. But again, I don't think that had anything to do with flying close to the ground. That was really just me making a mistake. And this footage is not sped up. This is how fast it goes when you push it a little bit. I don't think I was definitely not at the top of the range that it will go. I was probably going 50 to 60 miles an hour in some of these shots. But yeah, I mean, it goes. And one other thing about it that is unique, unlike other DJI drones, it actually records the sound. So I have the sound mixed in here a little bit. I don't know how much you can hear it, but you can hear when you're playing back the video, you can definitely hear that kind of screaming noise that it makes as it goes through the air. It has a really, really cool sound when it's going really fast. And other DJI drones typically don't record that sound. Now, as far as the acro stuff goes, it is a chore. You have to go in and do a whole bunch of stuff in the app to actually get it to go into acro mode. So if you're getting one for the first time, don't worry, you're not going to accidentally put it in acro mode. You're going to have to be very intentional to put it in acro mode and fly it like this. But once you're ready to do it, it's just a few steps. And I'm actually going to make a video about that because I think some people will be asking, how do I put it into acro mode? Because it's not really obvious. And you can put it into acro mode, but you can still limit how much it tilts, meaning that it doesn't go back to center, but it will stay tilted if you tilt it, but you can put it, I think that's over, yeah. You can then turn off that limitation so it can do flips and stuff like that. So very, that was a demonstration of, again, flying close to the ground based on Chris's question. Tater Roger says, how about the setup? Is it noob friendly? And by the way, Tater, I heard you had a loss in your family, and I'm sorry to hear about that. I hope you are doing well. I don't know if you're in the chat tonight, but if you are, God bless you and your family. But yes, it is very noob friendly in answer to your question. That's sort of the point of it, and that's part of what you're paying for, is something that is easier to set up and easier to get going with than a traditional FPV drone. And then the final question wasn't really a question. It was just Genesee saying, I think I might get one. I thought that was pretty cool. So Jenna, you should definitely get one. The question about the speed, though, I'm actually working on a video. My son's lacrosse team has a radar gun, and I borrowed it. And we went out to the field, and we were able to test the actual speed of how fast I could get it to fly. Now, as I said, the theoretical top speed is 87 miles an hour, but I tested to see how fast I could get it going. And this is a teaser of that video. I'm making a longer version of this, but this is a shorter version of that test with the radar gun. So let's take a look.
Alright, well, I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay, we'll just try a kind of slow pass first.
It said 44.
44. All right. Well, it's the only thing moving, so it must be that. All right, bring it back. Yeah, this is kind of interesting because, of course, there's the theoretical speed of it, and then there's the how fast I can actually fly it speed. Here it comes.
It said 54.
54 or 64?
50.
54, all right. Let's see if we can get 60. Okay.
67.
Wow.
Huh?
Okay. It sounded faster, didn't it?
Yeah, no, it was crazy fast.
All right, I had to just kind of bail out there for a second into put it into stabilize mode for a second. That was close. 70. Wow. All right. Woo.
So 70 was the fastest I could get it to go in that round. That was a month or two ago, so I might be able to do better now. But you notice my son and I were standing behind a pretty heavy chain link fence because the last thing I wanted to do was slam into us. And when you're in the goggles, that situational awareness, it's nice to have someone there with you looking at the thing and measuring the speed. But the point of that video is to see how fast a kind of, I'd say, mid-grade FPV flyer can get it going. And then also we were doing some comparisons to another 6S FPV quad that's more traditional than this one. You know, the more, again, flatter profile, etc. But overall, guys, I mean, if you're wanting to get into it and you can spend the money or go in with somebody on it or something like that, it is definitely a really good place to start, because when you put it into normal and even sport mode, it flies pretty much like a Mavic. There's a few differences about it, but if you've flown a Mavic, especially if you've flown it with the goggles, you can do it. It's pretty simple, and then build up to the acro stuff. All of that said, we've had a very, very energetic stuff with all the drone footage there. I want to now take it down a little bit. Not necessarily down, but just in a little different direction. Our good friend Chris Hope put together a video for us this month, and I'm very excited to show it to you because it is of a place he visited just recently, and it's a place that I actually visited when I was a kid with my grandparents, and seeing this video actually brought back a lot of memories from that. So let's check out Chris's segment. We call it 2 Minutes of Hope.
What's up, everybody? I had to spend down 2020 Dillon, Colorado, out there with Sean Oz and Kelly Shores. But I had to stop first at the Royal Gorge. It was on the way in. And it shakes and it rattles and the wind's blowing. So the wind noise, you may catch it. But anyway, thank y'all for watching and enjoy the show.
like I said, nice job, Chris Hope. That is a place I went to when I was probably, I don't know, 9, 10, 11 years old with my grandparents, and I remember just being blown away by it. I believe Chris stopped there on the way up to, he said it in the video, on the way up to Spin Down in Colorado last year, which seems like it was just yesterday, but it's been quite a while now, 6 months or so since we had that. And what a beautiful place. I think everybody knows down here that we had a lot of snow and ice about 2 weeks ago. And through flight cancellations, I actually was stuck in Colorado. I'd gone up there. Had gone to visit Sean. I did my last, I did one of my speed dials from up there. But it's one of the things I was thinking about doing was actually driving down to the Royal Gorge, but didn't end up doing it. But I would like to go see it again. So again, thank you to Chris Hope. If you haven't checked out Chris Hope's channel, just search for Chris Hope on the channel thing, or if somebody could throw Chris Hope's channel link into the chat here. And I don't know if I remembered to put that video. Oh, he hasn't posted it to his channel yet. The way it works is actually he premieres his videos on first Friday, and then he puts them on his own, or at least some of them. So again, thank you to Chris Hope for doing that. And he, I think, had some pretty cool footage of all the snow from a couple of weeks ago as well. Joe Blaylock also, another channel you should really go check out. He's been doing some cool stuff with snow, and he sent me a link to his most recent video where he was out over a forested area, and you could see where they had done some logging, and it was pretty cool from a drone's perspective. You can actually kind of see the areas. It makes more sense as to, I guess, versus being on the ground, as to how they're logging those areas. And then he was telling me that he replied and said that the reason after all the stuff's cut down, they plant new trees, but the trees were so small you couldn't really see them compared to the old ones. But anyway, it's that drone's perspective that makes everything look so cool. And speaking of so cool, I am ready to announce the subscriber of the month. Again, I want to congratulate our 2021s so far, which was Greg Thompson, who is Harley FPV, who I got to meet at Spin Down. He's actually from Colorado. And then also TJ Parsons, who was last month's subscriber of the month, and he actually just emailed me a couple days ago and told me that he did receive the package. And by the way, I couldn't tell if Gary from Stingray is still in the chat, but if Gary's still in the chat, I wanted to know if you got the bird, because I got all that stuff sent out after I got back from Colorado a little bit late. It was probably about a week ago that I sent that stuff out. So hopefully everybody received their packages if you won a prize or something like that. But I want to tell you who this month's winner is for March. This is a guy that I have been corresponding with a little bit, and he is located here in Texas, and he actually works as an EMT and runs a drone team, as I understand it. I'm going to learn more next week. His name is Adam Johnson. He is part of Austin Travis County EMS Spartan UAS team. And during our recent Great Texas Freeze, his team logged 211 flights and a combination of 38 hours of flight time in 2.5 days. And he told me he worked around 150 hours that week, trying to take care of everything that was going on. So, man, hats off to Adam. Thank you for first of all being out there doing that stuff and doing that stuff with drones and making it, giving drones a good name by helping people with them. So I'm going to find out more about the Spartan UAS team. Adam did send me a sticker and some other stuff. And he is actually going to be my guest next week on Speed Dial. So if you don't know who he is, you'll get to know him next week on Speed Dial. So congrats to Adam for being the March subscriber of the month. I am super psyched, and I'm psyched to meet him in person. So all of that said, it's kind of a short show tonight. I'm sorry about that. I did spend some time editing those videos. I just kind of ran out of time to put more content together. If you haven't watched my review of this guy, please do. If you're interested in it at all, I really wanted to take the time to go through the main features of it. But also, again, I feel like there's a lot of mixed opinions on this. everybody should do their research, of course, but I think ultimately, if you're a camera drone person and you want to get into FPV, this is a choice, and I think a very solid choice, albeit a fairly expensive one. So there you go. I'm a fan. So all of that said, I want to leave you guys how I always leave you, with a new version by Sunrise Water Media of the Ready Set Drone song, and I've cut together some new visuals. I'm not quite done with it yet. Once it's done, I'm going to put it out on the channel. But you guys don't fly alone. Thanks for being here tonight. It was an awesome show. I had a bigger group than usual, and I really appreciate that. So and thanks to Sunrise Water Media for writing this awesome version of the song. Let's hear it. Take care, guys.
When I fly, I won't fly alone. I'm gonna fly with Ready Set Drone, 'cause Ready Set Drone will always fly with me. Flying fast and flying free, flying with friends is the life for me, 'cause Ready Set Drone is my community. Goggles and rotors and FPV, props and motors and ESCs, gimbals and cameras are what we use to fly. Sharing stories and swapping tales, amazing triumphs and epic fails. How will you know if you don't ever try? Ready, set, drone, ready, set, drone. Spin up your props and plug in your phone. Fly with us and we think you'll agree. Ready, set, drone, ready, set, drone. What's the point of flying alone? Flying with friends will make you feel so free. I won't fly alone. I'm gonna fly with Ready Set Drone, 'cause Ready Set Drone will always fly with me.